I refer to it as life in the slow lane. I watch people come up after leaving work for a week and they got like the jitters.
Yeah.
And after a day or two, they start to wind down and they go, don't worry, you're in Pittsburg, don't worry about it.
This is Grounded in Granite, where every person and every place has a story to tell. I'm Jason Schreiber. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Grounded in Granite. So I have traveled to the far northernmost community in New Hampshire. I'm in Pittsburg, New Hampshire, right at the Canadian border. And I'm here at Lopstick Fly Shop with Alan Ard, who is the what's your title here is officially what?
The old man at Lopstick.
The old man. He's the old man at Lopstick, and you're running this fly shop?
Sales rep for the fly shop, all the sales and ordering and all that, along with Cheryl.
Okay, but you kind of educate people about fly fishing.
Absolutely.
That's kind of what you do in the shop. I mean, the shop is pretty much has everything you need, I guess, if you're coming up here to the Great North Woods to do some fly fishing, which is kind of a paradise here, isn't it, for fly fishing?
It's a destination, really.
It is.
Destination for all the country, actually. I'm not surprised at how many people come in here from the southern states, Pennsylvania, Virginia.
So they come from all over
just to come up here and fly fish. When the kids get out of school, we have a lot more people come up, spend the whole week vacation, and they do a lot of different fishing, not only just ponds and rivers, but they'll hike the backwoods and fish some of the tributaries too. So it has something for everybody, really, as far as fly fishing goes.
So it's busy, and so you get people with all different levels of experience coming up here.
Anywhere from young kids that have never fly fished with their dad. My granddaughter was 7 years old, and she learned to fly fish last year with her dad, who's a guide. Yeah. And I see kids come in at a young age, and they just put a pair of waders on them, put them in the river, and they have a great time. But somebody has to be a mentor. Somebody has to show them and get it started. And fly fishing is very unique to the type of fishing that it is. Very unique, and a lot of people stay away from it because they think it's difficult, but really it's not that difficult.
So you've been coming here for 36 years, living here permanently
for the last 13 years.
13 years.
Yeah, I retired 13 years ago up here. I bought my first property, one of the original Camp Otters on First Lake in 1989. And ever since then, I've had property up here. And it's been very, raised my children. My two boys coming up here from 4 years old on up. So they love it up here. One of them still guides up here, and the other one comes up every chance he gets with his sons. And it's just like a family tradition now.
So you would come up, in the summer? Is that what's kind of in winters too?
Winters too. The snowmobiling is a big deal up here.
It is.
It's as busy up here in the winter as it is in the summer.
When you decided you were going to retire up here, did you always know this is where you'd end up when you retired?
Yes, that was the plan. That was the plan. Yeah. As soon as we bought property, we said, this is a good place. So you're still in the state. You can still get everything you need. Berlin, Littleton, Holbrook has everything you need. So but it takes the right personality, the right lifestyle. But I refer to it as life in the slow lane. And I watch people come up after leaving work for a week, and they get out of their vehicle and they got like the jitters. Yeah. And after a day or two, they start to wind down and they go, don't worry, you're in Pittsburg, don't worry about it. It'll be okay. Yeah. And they slowly unwind.
So you were from southern New Hampshire?
I was born and raised in southern New Hampshire. Yeah, born in Derry, raised in Hampstead. Okay. And I raised my family in Kingston for 25 years. And then we came up here, and here's where I've been for 13.
So what was the transition like to retire up here? I mean, you obviously were familiar with the area, so it wasn't much, but living here permanently.
Yeah. The biggest thing I did that helped me adjust to this area is I volunteered to coach baseball for the town. My electrician, when I was building my house up here 13 years ago, was the head baseball coach. And then he found out I had coached in Kingston, so he said, geez, I had a picture of Babe Ruth in my house, actually. So we were talking baseball, and he goes, wait a minute, he says, I need an assistant coach. So then I volunteered to do that for 4 years. And it was the best thing I could have done, because I got to meet the local kids, the local parents, also into Canaan, Vermont, which I wasn't familiar with. But our school was so small, we couldn't make a baseball team. So we had to go to Canaan and get kids and combine the two towns to get a team. But it was a great experience. The kids are great. I still have kids come up to me in a restaurant and say, "Hi, coach," and I don't even know who they are because it's been 8 years, but they remember, So
So
it's
that's
great.
awesome because I mean, as we were kind of talking earlier, oftentimes it's when you have kids that and you coach, but
Yeah,
this was just you
yeah.
wanted to do this, kind of be part of the
Yeah,
community,
it
and
was it
thought
was something
it
that
would
I
be
offered to help, and I'd
yeah.
said specifically, "I'll do it for 4 years because I was 64 when I started doing it, and I did it till I was 68,
Okay.
and now I'm 75. So, I 4 years
So
was good.
that was
Yeah.
enough.
The bus rides to Moltenboro from Pittsburgh,
Oh,
and then the kids
geez,
all
yeah.
wanna go out to eat, so the biggest thing was we'd go on a trip, and I would always talk baseball and really thought about, baseball, and all they wanted to know was where we were gonna eat after the game. I'm like, "Okay, kids."
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
because that's a haul. I
yeah,
mean, hauling
yeah, it was like
around
two and
for
a half hours.
yeah, to when
Play a
from
game for
here
2 hours and then
and have
go to a restaurant and then come back, yeah.
yeah,
So it was tough. That was the
but
furthest we went was Moltenboro, but
okay.
the other ones, everything was almost an hour other than Colebrook. But it
Yeah.
was a challenge, but I
But
really was fortunate and glad that I did it because I met a lot of nice people up here
mm,
and in Canaan, Vermont. It
mhm,
was very, very, good exposure to get to know people. So
mhm,
even to this day, a lot of the kids that I coach are still here and working, and I get to see them. Couple of them became police officers. One of them is a police officer down in Colebrook now.
mhm.
Saw him the other day, so it's good connection. Yeah,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
that's
have that if I hadn't done that. That was, a very very worthwhile thing to do.
so what is the fly fishing experience like for people who are coming up here? Where are the popular spots? What's it gonna be like for them?
Well, a lot
I
of
mean
them will come up and they'll hit what we call the trophy stretch from First Lake Dam down to Lake Francis. It's about 2.8 miles,
mm,
and it's all fly fishing only. And there's a lot of different locations that they can hit there. But they actually a lot of the people will concentrate on that one stretch of the river. But they can also hit the ponds, Coonbrook Bog, Big Brook Bog, all the ponds that are fly fishing only. And then a lot of people will go to Back Lake, fish on Back Lake.
right,
They'll put
yep,
in a kayak or a canoe. So the whole town and the whole area has a vast area with many different ways of accessing the water and fishing it, whether it be big
mm,
boats or small boats, everything is here. So
mm,
that's why it's such a great spot to come. And
mm,
then because we have all the cabins, a lot of the cabins are dependable on those people coming up here. So Lopstick is one of the largest ones in the whole state with over 40
I
cabins
was
and
gonna say, yeah, over 40
property
cabins,
management,
wow,
yeah,
okay,
cabins, and they're all
yeah,
through the whole town. So we have them on the river and also on the ponds and lakes around. So it's one of the nicest ones. And once you come, you can make your connections. If you've never been here before,
yeah,
which is something that I'm always surprised when people
mm,
say it's their first time here,
really, yeah,
and it happens over and over again. Here at the shop, I get a lot of good feedback from all the people that come to visit, and they're they either love it or
mm,
it's not for them. If
yeah,
they're city people, sometimes they think it's
yeah,
a wilderness, and we have been
yeah,
here I've been here 36 years, and
so
it's a whole different story.
now, as far as the fly fishing, so do you is this pretty much the only place where you uh fish, or do you travel? Do you go outside of? I mean, are
There's
there other
no
places?
reason people come
So
in here and talk about going over to Maine, and I'll go,
there's
there's no reason to leave Pittsburgh,
no,
period.
okay,
No reason on earth, whether it's a boat, you're
hmm
trolling with a boat on the big lakes, or whether you're fishing with wading tributary streams, the
hmm
trophy stretch. There's plenty of fishing and all different kinds of fishing. Even if it's not fly fishing, there's no reason to leave Pittsburgh. You can
mm,
do everything right here, and you can do it successfully. You can fish a long time all season
yeah,
without hitting the same place twice. There's that much area. I think it's 300 square miles is the actual mileage for this town, and one of the
which
largest towns
yeah,
east of the Mississippi in square miles.
yeah, which is
So
really
no reason to
amazing.
leave, right?
Yeah,
No reason to leave Pittsburgh. Yeah. I have
mm,
my favorite spots and I go to different places, and I have places that my son's told me to promise me not to talk about at the
oh,
fly shop. So
oh,
we have
so he's
secret.
not going to reveal some of the
No, he
secrets
won't
then
even tell
on
me
his
which
show.
flies he uses. So I tie
Oh,
flies at the shop here, and he'll see my vise, and I'll tie some special flies, and I'll give them to people.
yeah,
But he sells me flies, and Chuck, one of the other guides, he ties flies for us. So I try and sell the local guide flies here at the shop, and that's very important because it helps them, and they're the best flies too. So when people come into the shop, they're getting locally tied flies by people who know what works. So when I hook them up, with good flies in different ways because fly fishing can be complicated as far as what you offer them.
Hmm.
But they actually they appreciate it. The guides appreciate it, and the customers come in knowing they're getting a fly that was tied right here in Pittsburgh. So
Hmm.
very, very valuable information. So we
Hmm.
give them local knowledge and we give them local flies, and everybody that comes in, literally make a point of coming back after I've given them some tips and sold them some flies. They'll come back in and thank me for how well they did. And it's all because of the information I get from the guides and from the other fly fishermen. In my own experience, I mean, I literally started fly fishing up here in '89. So when the guides start talking to me about how good they are and how sharp they are, I'll say, remember, I was fly fishing before you were born.
Hmm.
And then it kind of sets the tone for
Yeah.
them. But they are much more knowledgeable than I am. I'm not a guide, and I try to help the people as much as I can. And I'll say anything might work.
Hmm.
If it's got a hook in it, it might catch a fish.
Yeah.
Really.
What do you enjoy about fly fishing and that experience? Was it
Well,
what?
fly fishing is kind of unique in that it's uh it's elegant. The actual casting is elegant if you do a lot of casting. You see pictures of these guys putting out 40, 50 feet of line. My son can do it, but we'll be in a boat and they'll have 30 feet of line in the air behind them, and they know exactly when to go forward and watch the line land softly on the water. That's
Hmm.
the whole idea.
Right.
So there's an elegance to it.
Hmm.
And then it's sophisticated in the point, like if you watching it come into the shop, you would say, there's so much stuff here. If you're new at it, you'd walk in and be overwhelmed with the
Hmm.
amount of equipment and the different things that are in here.
Yeah.
400 patterns and flies right there. There's
Wow.
30,000 flies here in 400 different patterns at least. So it can be overwhelming to someone who's just starting out. So what we do is try and simplify it for them. And that's my job, is to make it so they understand what the equipment is, how much they need or don't need. And I don't ever try to sell them more than what they need. You want them to get started as economically as possible.
Hmm.
Try to make sure it's fun. I mean, bottom line, you want them to have a good time, and they'll have more fun if they catch more fish.
Hmm. Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
So going out with a guide is a great way to get started, but if you don't have
Okay.
the money or a mentor, you can still do it yourself. And you start with basic equipment, and I show them where to go. I show them a map of the trophy stretch in different places. And they once they get hooked on it, literally hooked on it,
Hmm.
then they're ready to keep doing it. And then once they are successful, and they enjoy it. But what I find is if you step into a river, it's different than being in a canoe or a boat. You don't get the same feeling that you get standing in a river. You'll get the rhythm of the river. You'll feel it in your legs, and you'll actually be almost mesmerizing. So you can lose track of time, and then you get kind of like you feel like part of the nature and part of the environment. So you fish and you hook a fish, and before you know it, you've been there 20 minutes, and you think you've been there 5 minutes, and that's part of getting into nature. So even if you don't catch fish, you're into the element, you're into nature, you're into a very different, something you don't experience all the time. So when they finally get into it good enough to be successful and get out into nature in their favorite spots where no one's around, and then a moose walks by you
Hmm.
or an eagle flies over your head,
Yeah.
then it's like, now this is special. Then you learn to relax too. Very, very relaxing. Something that you can do and get away from everybody, and you forget what's going on the rest of your life.
Hmm.
So.
Well, speaking of moose, you mentioned moose. Do you? I don't know what's the moose. What's happening with the moose population these days
I
up
have a
here? Have you
good
heard anything
handle. Well, I don't
lately
know.
on?
You kind of go by your own
Yeah,
observations. Like
yeah.
I saw
So
just a quarter of a mile above here 2 days ago, two yearling moose
you did.
twins,
Okay.
and they looked in great shape. They walked through my yard. I've got 5 acres up off of Camp Auto Road. They walk through my yard all the
Hmm.
time, and usually the spring is when they're most active. So I've
Right.
seen more right now. But back in the '90s, we would go out in the evening, and the kids would pick a number, how many moose we were going to see.
Yeah.
And it was always 10, 12,
Mm.
14 moose just for the run up through Moose Alley on Route 3.
Yeah. Yeah, because a trip up Moose Alley, and my experience in over the years,
Mhm.
it's they're not as prevalent. You don't
No,
see them
it's
like
not
you used to.
nearly like it was, but I
Yeah.
definitely have seen an increase
So you have
in the last 5 years.
okay.
No question about it. I've seen an increase.
Oh,
More
that's
have
good.
gone through my yard
Yeah, that's
and
okay. That's
definitely
good to
definitely
hear.
better. And they all
Yeah.
look good.
Yeah.
Like you can tell by looking at them whether
Okay.
they're in any kind of distress from ticks. And the moose, all the moose I've seen this year look very good, very healthy and great
Mm,
condition. So
okay.
that's a positive.
Well,
People come here
that's
just to see
right.
moose.
Well, I know. Well,
That's
it's
where
such a
they.
big, it's an
Oh
attraction,
yeah,
and you
they
get
love
people
to
that want to
come.
come and see
Right.
moose, and then
Right.
when the population's struggling,
Yeah.
that's tough for
Without
tourism.
yeah, without scientifically being someone that studies it, but I'd say
Yeah,
just from my own
I'm
experience being here, there are definitely more moose than there were 5 years ago even. Yeah,
that's
good thing. Yeah.
that's good. And what else do you enjoy about the area, the town? I mean, it sounds like you kind of wanted to when you came up here. It was just kind of you said called the slow lane,
Life in the slow
life in the
lane.
slow lane.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what you
Yeah.
just needed that.
Yeah.
That's
It's
what you
100%.
were looking
I'll
for.
watch people come to visit. They'll come and stay at my house, and the first day or two they're there, they're like in an extra
Yeah.
gear. They're like in high gear. Then they slowly back off, and then after 3 days, they're like sitting down and whatever. We'll get to it when
It's
we get
hard
to
for
it.
people to slow. It is hard for people who are
Yes,
wired to
yes,
just and
yes.
to
Right. I left a high stress job with working 50, 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
I retired and within 2 weeks, I was up here full time, and it took me about a month and I kept thinking about when am I going to get back to work? You retire and you're like, I was used to that high schedule, and I covered all of the North Shore of Massachusetts and southern New Hampshire, all the way up to Kittery. And I was on the go every day. I drove at least 100 miles a
What
day.
kind of work?
I was a
What?
sales rep for a ready-mix concrete company.
Oh, okay.
And I had my own concrete company business for
Yeah.
15 years. So I was dealing and talking to people every day and covering a huge area. And it was a sales rep and a quality control situation. So I was covering the last job I did was the parking garage in Portsmouth. And we supplied that, and I had to do the QC on the job. But after doing that at high level for those years, I was with them for 16 years. To just stop all of a sudden and come
Yeah.
to Pittsburgh, drastic. It was a very, very drastic change.
It's a culture shock.
Yeah, and it was good. I think I really do believe it extends your life, because I have never felt better
Really.
being here. It was just as soon as you relax and start doing what you do, and then you work part-time, like coaching and working here part-time. I
So
enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it very much, talking to the people that come in.
Yeah.
I meet new people every day. Strangers come in, and you get to talking with them. And I think you have to have the right personality. I enjoy talking to
Yeah.
people, and I enjoy fly fishing. So when we're talking about the same subject,
Yeah.
it's not the
And this is
emergency
like-
room.
Yeah.
We're coming in here. You come in here. If I don't have what you need, it's no big deal. We'll either get it or you don't need it. Is how I put it to them. But because it's fly fishing and it's relaxing, it's really a good place to be. And Lopstick, the people at Lopstick are great. All the owners and all the people that work here are all great, maintenance people. And I've been, well, let's see now, it's 8 years that I've been working for them. And I worked maintenance for 5 years. So I know all the cabins. I know all the people.
Yeah.
And that made it even easier. When people come in, I'll ask them, what cabin are you staying in? And who are you dealing with? Is everything good?
Yeah.
And it's good feedback. It's great feedback. And then they'll tell me something they won't tell the girl at the front office. It's like a secret. Like something wasn't quite right. Well, let me help you out with that. It's like and I just get a kick out of it. But I know, because I was in their shoes and visiting, what certain things you want a certain way. So I can understand where they're coming from, and they appreciate that, because people really do care. Now, the Lopstick family, they really do care what is, that people are having a good time, that it's an enjoyable time, whether they fly fish or not. They might want to be just going out and looking at moose or traveling the roads. It's still life in the slow lane.
And you've been signing some books. Talk about this book, this
Well,
beginning
there
fly
was-
fishing
yeah, and
guide behind us here.
Yeah, the Orvis Guide to Beginner Fly Fishing.
Okay.
And I started doing it a few years ago, just kind of as like to give someone a souvenir.
Okay.
So, and I said, no, I did not write this book, right?
Because normally we're signing books we've published. However,
Exactly. And I actually am writing a book about Pittsburgh.
Oh, you are?
myself. I'm writing a book, and I've been working on it the last 2 winters. And
Whoops.
Cheryl's been telling me to hurry up and finish it because she's afraid I won't make it to the finish line before the book's done. But I said, fine, I'll finish it. But the one that I am signing, and I have signed, I'll probably sign about 50 or 60. They've gone to 30 states. They've gone to Scotland, England, Ireland. And all I do is I say to them, I can make this special for you. So this book will be special for you as a souvenir. So I write the date, the person's name, and then I write, enjoy your time in Pittsburgh. May the weather be good and the fishing better. Tight lines from the old man at Lopstick. And that's where the old man at Lopstick came from.
That's how it started?
That's how it started, because I signed the books that way. And then everybody said, oh, he is the old man at Lopstick, you know? But
so
and I hand it to them and I say, there's not another one like it in the world. And when I'm gone, it'll be worth more money.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And I
a little celebrity around here.
Yeah.
Kind of like a little celebrity.
Yeah. And it's fun, you know?
Yeah.
And the older you get in life and you look back on everything, raising kids and going through all that, as you get older, you don't give a darn.
Yeah.
You know, you don't care if you embarrass yourself or if something doesn't go right. You learn to say, hey, I'm in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. And it isn't life and death. You know, this is not the emergency room. This is a fly shop. So everybody comes in here, they're in a good mood. You know, they're really in a good mood. They're here on vacation. They're having fun. And if they catch fish, they're in a better mood. So if you're able to help them, fine. You know, that's good. That's a good feeling at the end of the day. It's not like work. You know, they say if it's not work, if you enjoy it, well, I enjoy dealing with the people and talking about fly fishing.
So this sounds like the perfect retirement job. Then,
it is for me.
You,
it is for me. Yeah. And it just happens.
I mean,
it just happens. You know, you fall into something like that. I didn't plan on coming up here to work in a fly shop, but I was doing maintenance, in fact, for 5 years, and I had some health issues. And then one of the general managers said, why don't you work in the fly shop? You fly fish. And I said, geez, I don't know if I'm going to stay inside, but it worked out beautiful. It worked out very good. I started at the office. We moved down here 5 years ago. We've been down here 5 years. And we moved down here just to have better access to Route 3. And we owned the building. So we said, well, why not use the space?
Okay.
It gave us more space. We didn't have enough space at the office. Yeah. And they did a lot of work. Joel did all the work in here, the floor and everything, and he did a nice job. And people like it. So, yeah. And we made this talking about having a farmer's market in the field across the street here, and maybe a flea market and a farmer's market a little later on. There's talks of that. It isn't official, but people are talking about it. And that'll be even better because I'll have people come wandering in here, just, traffic that's not even fly fishing people. And I'll sell them a sweatshirt or a hat or something. Yeah, I'm selling stickers. Last week I started selling the stickers that say Lopstick Fly Shop that my oldest son designed. And I said, well, you can save gas if you have one of these stickers on your vehicle. The guy goes, how's that? And I said, if you have a fly shop sticker, you're going to get in your vehicle and see it. You're going to think fishing. So you're going to pull over and you're going to fish more. You shut the car off, you're saving gas. I think that's reasonable. Yeah, that's definitely reasonable.
Oh, that's funny.
So, it needs to be fun.
Yeah. I was going to ask, in your time from the first time you came up here to what Pittsburgh is today, what sort of changes have you seen?
We'll say from 89 to now in transition. It's the least amount of change I've ever seen in a community. And I grew up in southern New Hampshire and Kingston and in Hampstead area. And I have never, literally, there's been, the only change was the internet and cell service. That was the biggest change. The cell service, you couldn't use a cell phone up here 5 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
So I'd never see a person on the river talking on a phone. Now I see people talk. And the first time I saw that, I go, that's
probably made you mad.
I just thought that's too bad. I knew it was a change because I got some guy talking on the phone across the river from me. And that's where we're supposed to be peace and quiet and getting away from technology.
So that's a whole interesting, because it's like a double-edged sword. Like
but
you're coming up here to escape all that.
And also it was a safety thing. As I got older, but my sons were worried because I'd go off into the woods, deer hunting by myself and hike in the woods, fly fishing. If I fall and go down in the river or whatever, I'm toast, But with the cell phone,
50 years ago,
we all did it, and I
just did.
Thought nothing of it.
Times have changed.
But as soon as the cell tower went up on Corkscrew Hill, my son said, "You need to get a cell phone, Dad." And now it's like I can't live without it. But I feel better going out.
Right. Yeah, no,
it
I
is
get it.
better,
Yeah,
as I get older, in case I did go. But
right,
knock
right.
on wood, we haven't had to use it for emergency. But I know it's helped other people that have gotten a jam.
Yeah. Oh
So
no,
it is a good
no,
safety
absolutely.
thing.
No,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
And you expect people come now expect to have
Oh yeah.
service.
Oh yeah. And it's good service, really. It's pretty dependable service up
Yeah.
here. Yeah. It's not nobody's complained about the service.
Hmm.
But the transition, that's the biggest transition from
Yeah.
1989, early
Mm.
90s till now. That's the biggest thing is the internet and the cell phone service,
Mm.
the technology.
But growth, I mean, I see some new places popping up
It's
here and there. There's
Yeah, it's certainly grown some, but not as much as I would have expected it to. I would have expected more growth. But since COVID,
it will
people
come.
discovered
It
us
will.
during COVID. They came up, getting out of the cities. That did make a difference. So more people know about it than they did before.
Well, and after people watch this podcast episode with you, they're probably going to be flocking up here, and it's going to be your fault when this place is overdeveloped. It's like
Forget everything I just said. Forget everything I just said. The place is terrible. Fishing's lousy. The weather's bad, right? Don't even come up here. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
No.
Pay no attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I mean,
if I had to say, I know there's people, just judging by my own daughter-in-laws and family, there'll be people that'll come up here and say, why in the heck do you live here?
Yeah.
It's just, there's not enough for them to do it. They're shopping people and they're used to the city. Like my daughter-in-law teaches in Concord, and she grew up there, and she likes stores and she likes all that stuff. And, it just, there's not enough. They could never live here, but they're willing to come up and visit and relax, and they understand nature and how fresh air and all that. But there are people who just would not care for it, and there are other people that love it and can't wait to come up and retire. So it's you'll know the difference. You'll know whether you like it or not once you've been up here a while. And I can usually tell when they're ready to bail after 3 days. I know they're the ones that probably aren't coming back.
But there is something to longevity though when you're in a place like this, and just health wise. I mean, it's got to be better for your health.
So.
Although,
I think so. Yeah, and genetically,
just kind of
unwind. Yeah,
here.
but relax wise, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you'll relax despite yourself up here, without even trying. And down below, it can be trouble. So.
You get a lot of people from all over the place here. Where's the farthest someone has come that you've met in your
Washington State? Washington State. Other than Europe. Yeah, other than Europe.
So from within the U.S.
In the U.S., Washington State. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm always amazed at how many people actually come here and have never been here, but somebody else talked them into coming, and then they come from everywhere.
Really?
I believe I've seen probably 40 out of 50 states have been here, including Alaska. Yeah, including Alaska.
Alaska, yeah. I mean, and it's just, plenty of outdoor adventures there.
Yeah. And it draws a certain type of person, definitely draws a different type of person. But all the, I've been doing it in this location for 5 years, and I really think that I'm always surprised when different people come in. I always ask them, where are you from and where are you staying and how much fly fishing, their experience. And you get them, they'll talk to you. And then you find out, that's crazy. Why did you come here from Virginia?
Now, a lot of people discovered Pittsburg in 2024 with the eclipse. Was that the total solar eclipse?
Yes.
Was it 2024?
Yes, yeah.
I was actually up here. I was in the next town down, Clarksville, for the eclipse.
Yeah.
And this Pittsburgh was, I mean, just buzzing.
I had people parking on my street. I was going to charge them.
Really?
Woman said, "Do you mind if I park here?" And I said, "Well, I could do it for you, but but it did draw a lot of people. That was a big. It was
It was crazy.
Yeah, draw a lot of people, and it was nice. It was cool.
It was a fun. Yeah, it was cool to see. It was a cool experience.
Right, it was a fun thing.
First total solar eclipse I've experienced.
Yeah. And I was like, it was so quick. It was 1 day deal. So they were all here and then they're gone. So 1 day deal. So,
yeah, because you pretty much had to be north of Lancaster to be.
Yeah,
it was like Lancaster north to be in the total.
It looked like we were going into sunset.
Yeah.
And it stayed for 10 minutes or so, and then it started out again. But it definitely got dark. I mean, darker. Yeah, it was cool.
It was cool. So that's so that was a busy time
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
Well, Alan, what else do we need to discuss? Anything, any other tips for people who might want to consider coming up here to fly fish or to live?
I would say, I don't know about living. That'd be a tough choice.
See, now you don't
they
want
have
anyone to come because you
No. It'd be a tough choice, but come and visit and definitely learn to fly fish. Don't be, afraid to fly fish. Learn, hire a guide if you're worried about it, but definitely experience it. At least come up and experience Pittsburgh one time. Spend a week. Don't do 2 or 3 days. Spend a week and look around and see. You'll love it, and it's the unique part of this state. I've lived in, from top to bottom, and we had a camp in Osprey when I was growing up, and I had a lot to compare it to. And there's nothing exactly like Pittsburgh. It's very unique. So at least come and take a look, and then whether it's a holiday, a vacation, or whether you want to come up here full time, that's your own personal choice. But it's a unique situation. Great weather, great experience. Snowmobiling's a big deal. So everybody that comes up, if you come up, take the time to get to know a few people, and everybody up here they're very nice people. The local people are hardworking, kind people, and they will go out of their way to make your visit comfortable and friendly. They want you to have fun. So it's something that Lopstick is great. I can't say enough about the folks at Lopstick. They're great. Their cabins are great, and they have every different location you can think of. So come up and stay in a Lopstick cabin, visit me and Cheryl, and, we'll have a good time, and see how it is.
So a good plug for Lopstick, and my sense is that the town is probably going to create a tourism director position, and you'll be hired for that after this episode. So you might have a new job for retirement.
No, I sell flies. I sell flies. I sell my son's flies and Chuck's flies, one of our guides. We sell their stuff because they're local guides and they do a good job. Yeah. But I'll guarantee you this, that we will make your trip more successful fly fishing wise. But thank you so much. Yeah, it was nice talking
Alan,
with you.
thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it. And until next time, remember, every person and every place has a story to tell. We'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in to Grounded in Granite, where we celebrate the people, places, and stories that make New Hampshire home. If you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow Grounded in Granite on Facebook, X, TikTok, and Instagram for behind-the-scenes clips, photos, and more. Subscribe to the Grounded in Granite YouTube channel to catch full video episodes. You can also find Grounded in Granite on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeart. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and stay grounded in granite.